In the soft glow of early morning studio lights, long before the city fully wakes, Al Roker often pauses for a brief moment of quiet that few ever see. A pause shaped not by fatigue alone, but by decades spent living in full view of the public eye, where every smile is analyzed, every absence questioned, and every change in appearance becomes fodder for speculation. And as he straightens his notes and adjusts his tie, there is an awareness that the warmth he brings into millions of living rooms has come at a deeply personal cost, one that only those who have lived long enough to understand the weight of time can truly appreciate. For Al, fame was never a sudden storm, but a steady weather pattern that followed him through milestones both joyful and painful. And alongside him through it all has been Deborah Roberts, his wife, his confidant, and his quiet refuge from the noise. A woman who understands that public scrutiny does not clock out when the cameras stop rolling, but lingers in whispered headlines and online judgments that seep into private moments, turning even ordinary days into performances. Together, they have learned that high-profile careers ask for more than talent and endurance. They demand a constant negotiation between who you are for the world and who you are when the doors close. And for an audience now in their 60s, this truth feels achingly familiar, echoing years spent balancing professional duty with personal sacrifice. Al's career, built on reliability and reassurance, has required him to show up even when his body protested and his spirit felt worn. And Deborah, herself a respected journalist, has known the strain of walking a parallel path where success brings admiration but also a relentless spotlight that rarely forgives vulnerability. Yet it is precisely in vulnerability that their story finds its deepest resonance, because aging in public strips away illusions, replacing them with honesty. And there is courage in continuing to stand tall while acknowledging the quiet fears that come with time. Fears of being replaced, of being remembered only for past achievements, of losing relevance in a world obsessed with what's new. They have faced seasons when health challenges became headlines, when private recovery unfolded under public concern, and when well-meaning strangers felt entitled to opinions about bodies and choices. And through it all, Deborah remained a steady presence, reminding Al that his worth was never measured by ratings or applause, but by the integrity with which he lived his life. A lesson that resonates deeply with those who have spent decades building careers, only to wonder in later years what truly endures. Navigating public scrutiny has taught them that love, too, must adapt, becoming quieter, stronger, and more intentional, shaped by shared glances across crowded rooms and late-night conversations where they process the day's burdens away from any microphone. And in those moments, they are not icons or anchors, but two people reflecting on a journey that has given them much while asking more than they ever expected. For a generation that has weathered social change, technological upheaval, and personal reinvention, Al and Deborah's story offers something rare and grounding: the reassurance that it is possible to age with grace without pretending the road has been easy, that resilience does not mean silence, and that public life, for all its privileges, can quietly test the soul. They understand now that legacy is not built solely through professional accolades, but through the way one remains human amid scrutiny, choosing kindness over defensiveness, gratitude over bitterness, and connection over isolation. And as Al steps back into the spotlight each day with his familiar warmth, and Deborah continues her work with calm authority, there is a shared understanding that the most meaningful victories are the unseen ones. The mornings they choose patience, the evenings they choose reflection, and the enduring partnership that has carried them through decades of change. For those watching who are navigating their own later chapters, perhaps retired or nearing it, their journey serves as a gentle reminder that while public scrutiny may magnify life's pressures, it can never define the fullness of a life well lived, and that the quiet strength found in companionship, perspective, and acceptance is a legacy far more lasting than any headline.